is my mind regulator. Hey, my heart fixer. You are Lord. Somebody call on. Have you ever been in trouble and you opened up your mouth and the first name that you called on, the very first name you said was Jesus? Because something happens when I call on the name of Jesus. Oh, demons tremble. Hey, when I call on the name of Jesus. You are Lord. You are my Lord. In the time of need, and I call you, and I call you. Jesus. Say Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Jesus, you are Lord. Oh, oh. Jesus, you are Lord. Oh, oh. Can you sing that with us? Jesus, you are Lord. Yeah. Yes, you are. Jesus, you are. Yeah. Now can we just call on his name together? We say Jesus. Go and invite him in. He'll meet you at your need. He's Lord over sickness. Sickness has to bow. Poverty is defeated. 'Cause at the mention of his name, demons tremble. Somebody call on kings and kingdoms. They shall pass away.
You met me deep in my despair to show me you would never leave me there. You claimed me 'cause I was made for so much more. I am your child, and I'm worth fighting for. Oh, heavy with the weight of my mistakes, you carried me and refused to let me sink under the pressure you meant for me to soar. I am your child, and I'm worth fighting for. Eyes haven't seen, ears haven't heard all you have planned for me, and nothing can separate me from your love when there's so much more still worth fighting for. Now I'm moving by faith and not by sight towards victory. By the power of your might, you're straightening out my path and opening every door. I am your child, and I'm worth fighting for. Eyes haven't seen, no, ears haven't heard all you have planned for me, and nothing, no nothing, can separate me from your love when there's so much more. Yes, still worth fighting. Eyes haven't seen, ears haven't heard all you have planned for me, and nothing can separate me from your love when there's so much more still worth fighting for. And that's why I'm pressing towards the mark, 'cause the calling on my life is worth fighting for, and I'll keep my mind stayed on you, Jesus, because the peace it brings is worth fighting for, and I'll be faithful to my wife and children, because my family is worth fighting for. No, this world is not my home, but your kingdom here is worth fighting for. I got a mansion over in glory, and my new home is worth fighting for. Till I see it, I'll shout out, hallelujah here, 'cause my praise is worth fighting for. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Life with you is worth fighting for. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Life with you is worth fighting. Eyes haven't seen, ears haven't heard. There is so much more still worth. Eyes haven't seen, ears haven't heard. There is so much more still worth fighting for. Hey, hey. If you believe you're worth fighting for, shout to the Lord. There is so much more still worth. Speak to your spirit right now. Eyes haven't seen, ears haven't heard. There is so much more. Eyes haven't seen, ears haven't heard. All you have planned for me. Y'all help me say that.
Connecting the community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W300EB, Macon, and WDDO 980 AM, Perry, Macon.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, and advertisers, but are the views of the participants of the broadcast.
It is now time for this broadcast of WP with for to do this.
Good evening and welcome to another segment of the NAACP Truth Show. I'm Willie DUMAS, your host. Hope you're having a great day on this rainy Monday. Had a great weekend. I hope you did also. 'Tis the season to be jolly. Holiday season is upon us, and there's so many events that are happening all across the city. And I'm sure you've been just as busy as I have attending various banquets and parties and those sort of events that happen around this time of the year. I want to send a shout out to the event that I attended this past weekend, which was sponsored by the Wings and Words of Hope, the Joseph A. Finney Senior Foundation, where they honored me as a community activist. And we had a wonderful time. This was held at the Douglas Theater this past Saturday started around 3:30. The award show started at 6. They had some awesome entertainment. I really enjoyed that band they had. They had an excellent band that was playing from jazz all the way to R&B, and from R&B to Christmas selections. And so we had a really good time, some great food and entertainment, as well as recognizing some great efforts from caregivers all across Middle Georgia. And so kudos to Wings and Words of Hope and their foundation. May they continue to do excellent work in the community. And Minister excuse me, Minister Cheryl Finney and Dr. Bird and their entire staff there doing an excellent job. May they continue in that work. Also, I understand President Westbrooks was also attending a different affair as well. There were so many events that were happening over the course of this particular month of December. Just a lot of things happening. Also, we know that in the news, on the news side of things, a lot has transpired, which we're going to talk about some of those things later in the show, particularly about the CEO of United Healthcare, who was murdered in New York City. And of course, some breaking news today in regards to that. They've located a person of interest that they feel may be connected. They haven't said that this particular person of interest is the actual suspect, but it seems that there's a lot of information that's pointing in that direction. I've got a news report here from CNN that says a man was arrested Monday on a gun charge in Pennsylvania and has been identified as a suspect in the brazen targeted fatal shooting last week of United Healthcare Brian Thompson in Midtown Manhattan. According to New York officials, this person was found at a McDonald's restaurant of all places. Just some interesting things there. It says also, it says that it's consistent with the weapon used in the murder. It says New York Police Commissioner said at a news conference Monday, referring to a device that muffles the sound of a firearm. Authorities also recovered a frequent New York Jersey ID matching the ID of the suspect used to check into the New York City hotel before the shooting. It's also said that a handwritten document that speaks to both his motivation and mindset said these documents indicate ill will towards corporate America. And, as we look at what transpired there in that murder case, it shows the importance. And I think there were a lot of negative comments that came about from that story in regards to healthcare services in the United States. And that's a huge topic when you start talking about denied care for individuals. Not only denied care, but also the fact that sometimes insurance doesn't cover a large portion of the cost for insurance. And so that's becoming a huge topic. We've spoken here on our show many times about Medicaid expansion and the need for healthcare coverage for all individuals. A lot of times, certain people can afford coverage where others can't. And so when it comes to healthcare, how important is that to everyone? I mean, it should be a major concern. I have a news report here. It says in 2024, the average cost of healthcare in the United States for an individual coverage is about $8,951 per year. Health cost is expensive. It's expensive to be ill. And so that's why it's so important that we stay healthy. Family coverage, the average family cost for family coverage is $25,572 a year. And that can really cut into a person's budget, when you start having those types of cost for healthcare. And it just shows us the need for insurance coverage and the need for some type of assistance in many cases as relates to healthcare. I'd like to know your opinion about healthcare. Do you think your healthcare is affordable, or do you think that healthcare should be uh, covered by the government? Or do you feel that healthcare should be at a reasonable cost for all Americans? If you have some concerns or some answers to that question, give me a call right here at the radio station at 478, excuse me, 478-250-1444. Once again, that number is 478-250-1444. We're talking about healthcare coverage. Is it affordable? Um, is it very costly to individuals? And have you ever had issues regarding healthcare coverage when it came to specific illnesses? We do know that through the Obama administration, that existing, if you had some type of existing problems or health concerns, that they would no longer be used to cause you not to get insurance coverage. Pre-existing conditions for a long time have halted a lot of people from getting adequate coverage because of illnesses that they've had over the years, and so that has worked against a lot of people. And so even with the new administration coming on board, will healthcare continue to be in the course of that it's taken at this point, whereas pre-existing conditions will be relevant or part of a person being able to afford healthcare. Healthcare in the United States, of course, is, like we just mentioned, is a big part most households. And I do know that for those of us who are seniors, who have turned that little milestone of 60s, in their 60s and even 50s in certain cases, and on Medicare, that Medicare costs are also increasing, just like regular insurance costs. And so the ability to afford certain coverages has become an issue all across not just the state of Georgia, but all across America. Prescription drugs, of course, that cost is very high. And we do know that the Biden administration did put a cap on certain medications that make them affordable, where they wouldn't be priced out of the range of average people. Because when you look at some of these medications that people are taking, they're really astronomical, where you got one prescription that's over $500. I mean, that is just phenomenal, a phenomenal cost for an individual. And so it's not even hard to imagine a person having to decide whether they're going to either eat or, buy food or buy medication. And some of these medications, of course, are very critical for the lifespan of the patients that use these particular drugs. And so I believe as we go into 2025, that's still going to be a major concern for Americans as far as the affordability for healthcare coverage. And we tend to see that being a major concern, particularly with what transpired on last week with the shooting of that CEO. It's kind of directing itself towards someone having an issue with their health care coverage, either for themselves or for a loved one. And so we'd really love to hear from our audience as far as the affordability of insurance. Do you think insurance companies take for granted the cost of coverage for individuals? or is there some way that they can drive down that cost? Once again, give us a call at 478 250 1444, because we'd love to hear from you. If you've had some concerns with getting adequate care through your insurance coverage, and also if some of you have very affordable insurance coverage, maybe other people can check with who you're using to get that good coverage as well. We do know that all throughout rural middle Georgia, as well as the entire state of Georgia, that their hospitals are dwindling, and we're experiencing where people have to drive sometimes an hour and a half just to get health care. They don't have local doctors, local hospitals in those areas, which is a major concern, particularly if someone gets ill or is having some type of issue. Also want to send out some condolences today for the tragic fire that happened in Twiggs County on last night. Some of the people that were involved in that particular fire were kind of, it's a close-knit community there in Twiggs County, and most people in that area kind of know each other. And in that being the case, when something tragic like that happens, the entire community tries to gather around the individuals. Overnight, it was an overnight fire in Twiggs County, and authorities arrived on the scene. They say that there was a mobile home that was engulfed in flames. And so that was a very tragic type situation. It says, leaving the victims little chance to survive. There was a mother and her child. They were tragically killed overnight in a fire in Twiggs County, according to a press release from the Twiggs County Sheriff Office. And it happened Monday morning in Jeffersonville around 1 a.m. And the press release also said a mobile home caught on fire on Dale Street. So that's when the sheriff office and the fire department arrived on the scene around 1:06 a.m. They said the home was engulfed in flames, and the fire department officials began to fight the fire. And so our prayers go out to everyone and the families that were affected by this very tragic event. And that's one of the things we always talk about this time of the year, and that's safety. Home safety is important. Of course, with the fluctuation of the weather, we've been having from cold to hot to rainy weather. And many times individuals try to stay warm by using space heaters and those kind of devices. And a lot of times that's where fires begin, not properly using those devices. A lot of times people use extension cords to hook up these space heaters, and once those cords get too hot, it can start a fire. And so all of those things we have to be mindful of during this season, making sure if you're using decorative lights on Christmas trees, that you, particularly if it's a live tree, you want to make sure you're putting water under that tree so it doesn't get so dry that it catches on fire. I see President Westbrooks has joined us. Good evening.
Good evening.
We've been talking a little bit about fire safety and also, health coverage. We know with the situation that happened with the CEO of United Healthcare, that could possibly stem from someone being, kind of upset with the fact they may not have been able to get proper coverage or care. And
right.
So,
yeah, that's I've worked in that field some, years back, worked in healthcare, dealing with claims and different things like that. So, it does happen. It's gotten a lot better, and it was especially affected people that had like HMO coverage. That's that back back in the days, a lot of people that had HMO coverage had difficulty with claims. It's a lot better. I have HMO now with mine. I basically can go where I want to go, but you can be seen by whatever facility, long as they're in your network. But that was so sad. Really don't know, but I did read where some lawsuits had been filed last year pertaining to people that coverage was denied, had been denied coverage, and it's really
It's
sad
sad.
that you have people that have medical conditions. That's why it's so important, like I say, that when you keep abreast of the different laws that's changing, that changes, especially with pre-existing
Conditions.
conditions. A lot of people, and I tell people all the time, um, especially if you are getting ready to go into the hospital, um, having any type of outpatient procedure, most of the time the facility will actually call and they'll verify, your coverage. But I encourage people to do that yourself also. You need to call your insurance company. A lot of people are not, familiar with the different things that deals with health coverage. They don't know what to ask for, what to say. But you need to just make sure that that when you go into a facility that you're in your network, because
Right.
sometimes it pays nothing at all, and sometimes it pays a percentage, which is lesser than your normal coverage would be. So yeah, it's something serious that people they pay for healthcare coverage and then their claims are denied. And healthcare coverage is very expensive,
It is.
especially when you have family coverage. So it's very expensive. I have my niece here with me today.
See,
Um,
my
Miss Kylie Williams
Callie
is here
and
today
friend
with us, and
and friend.
and her baby doll. Hey, Kylie.
Exactly.
And so yeah, it's sad. I saw the footage, and kind of the things that they were saying um that was written on the shell cases, deny,
Denied.
delay, something like that they was in. The person seemed like they were kind of young, a person, you're a very young person. You I don't know.
I think the person of interest that they have is like 26 years of age, I
Yeah.
believe.
And
So,
so we don't know whether or not, you can't, don't want to speculate, if it was a
right.
parent or sister or brother, whatever. It's just sad that you pay for coverage,
And then
and then
can't be seen.
get can't be seen. I don't know if that movie, I can't think of the name of the movie with Denzel Washington in it. I just saw that movie a couple weeks ago. Maybe it was actually last week. I saw that movie. I was up looking at it late at night. Um, when his health coverage would not cover his son's medical condition
Condition.
to get a heart. So it's it's real. It's
Yeah.
real.
Sometimes people do desperate things, when they're in desperate type
Yeah.
situations.
We're gonna be, uh, like I said, just keep abreast of everything. Especially after this inauguration, it's gonna. I don't know if they're gonna be able to do what they say that they're trying to do, but we're gonna see. I just think that I just know God is in control, no matter who's in what house,
Right.
whether it's a state representative, Senate. God is in control of everything. But sometimes God have to give us a wake up call, because we so often forget. Um, People forget. You know, where they've been, where they come from, where
Right.
and they forget about the people that are in need. They get in these positions, and I just believe that like I say, I just have to put my trust in God. I can't put my trust in man. Or I have to put my trust in God that He would not let us perish.
Exactly.
Um, but people. I was just on a call to action with Mr. Havisham right before coming here, and he, I said it one way, but he said another way, and I told him I was gonna start using his phrase. But people that we as black people, we got to start looking at our spending. He said ballot in the book. I
Right.
said spend. I said the ballot in the spending. He said ballot in the book, and people need to, I just remember, looking at movies and different things like that, and looking at autobiographies and different things like that, where people stuck together back then. If people say they ride nobody's gonna ride the bus.
And nobody did.
Then there nobody ride the bus.
Right.
We got to start standing together on especially issues that affect people of color, because
Right.
a lot of things that are coming forth um, or will be affecting, they're targeted at people of color. And
Exactly.
so if we don't get on board and start trying to stand up for ourselves, then we gonna be lost. Are we gonna wait till it's too late to recognize what the problem is? Um, I'm not saying it in a discriminatory way. I'm just saying because everybody has every race have their own history. They have their own. I'm saying, but it seems that when it comes to people of color's history, our education, it always seems like we of a race is being targeted to eliminate things that affect us.
And
I
matter
just
the
don't.
most to us.
Yes, and so our history is something that I just don't. I just feel as a black person, if I was a young black person coming up and I'm in college and I'm getting ready to make a career, choose a career, I don't want somebody taking away my history, because I first really need to know where I come from. How did I arrive to the point
Right.
where I am? Where did I come from to be able to know
Where you going?
where I'm going? What even though I may don't know where I'm going, but if I knew my history, I would know what the need is in
Right.
our community. What So the takeaway to say that we're not going to teach certain things in school that affect a certain race of people's history is just absurd. Every race, the Jewish
Rich
has a
history.
history.
Mhm.
White people have a history. Everybody um, has a history, but race, our history is targeted to be erased. It happened.
Right.
I'm saying, so it's crazy. But I get them emails from Senator Ossoff. Okay, give it to me. Senator Ossoff. It says here combating discrimination. Um, discrimination, and it says in U.S. Senator John Ossoff is working to protect Georgia from discriminatory threats. And I got this email on December 6th, and it says today Senator Ossoff is launching an inquiry with the Federal Bureau of Investigation and the U.S. Department of Justice, pushing them to fully investigate racist, threatening text messages targeting Black, Hispanics, and LGBTQ Georgians. And it says, according to the Fox 5 Atlanta, some message suggested Black recipients had been selected to pick cotton and warrant of consequences if they didn't comply. Victims, including a 14-year-old girl and her families, were left scared, and a shock prompted them to contact authorities. Later, according to Atlanta News First, threatening text messages were sent to high school students, including many Latino Georgians and some in the LGBTQ community. These mass communications are an attack on the safety and dignity of Georgians, and they may violate federal and state laws. Senator also wrote to Attorney General Garland and FBI Director Wray. It is imperative that the Department of Justice fully investigate these hateful threats and harassment, including of children. So this is, I think that we're going to see a lot more of this
Absolutely.
because people, for some reason, because of the election, and I don't know, they feel that they can say and do what they want to, and because I feel that they're gonna be pardoned. I was looking at the news last night, and basically he's the incoming president already said he's gonna pardon everybody that was sentenced with this insurrection. And my thing is that sends a very clear message to our nation, to our country, that people can, because if it was, and I'm gonna say it, if it was me, then I would have been killed dead on soon as I walked on the premises.
Right.
I wouldn't have been allowed to get that close, and people just invaded the White House. And I'm saying, if it was, people of color, black people, we would have been dead soon as we got to the premises. They wouldn't have waited for us to break in and then, crawl in a space and shine. People still, they invaded and took over the White House, threatening to kill the Pence and hanging Pence and other people officials. That so it's crazy. And then we looking at, we'll talk about, we may not have time this week today, but we'll talk about it next week. But he had incoming president had an interview talking about mass deportation, and also actually doing away with citizenship, where kids are actually born into the United States and they're automatically a citizen. He's talking about eliminating that because it still didn't. The parents are still illegal. It just made the child. And people need to understand that when that happens, that child receives all type of benefits. This, for example, with the Department of Family and Children Service, I worked there for 17 years, and so we issued benefits too. And that's one of the things that they do. The parents are not citizens, but the children are considered citizens if they're born here, and they're able to get benefits just for the person that's a citizen. But at the same time, the child does not control the benefits. The parents still can, so the parents still reap the benefits from it. So I don't know. I have mixed feelings about that. I just really wish that they would make these people legal, where they would just, and that's something that Obama, talked about and was trying to push to make people that are illegal citizens and let them pay the taxes just like everybody else do. Because even with benefits, like I was talking about with the SNAP benefits, they don't use all of their income. They just used, if you got $100 and you got 4 people in the house and just one person to sit, they're only going to use $25 of your income to determine whether you're eligible for SNAP benefits. When just make these people citizens and let them pay taxes and just like everybody else do. But separating children from their parents, I'm gonna, if it has to happen.
You have been listening to the live broadcast of NAACP with Gwinnett Westbrook and Mr. Dumas. Come join us next Monday at 4:00 p.m. on 980 WDDO.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Now clap your hands and say